Welcome aboard Free Dive with Seapoint Digital, your go-to podcast for deep dives into the world of digital marketing. I'm Kristy.
And I'm Anna-Lynn.
Your hosts navigating through the currents of growth, strategy, and innovation in the digital realm.
We're going to talk. We're going to laugh. It's going to be a good time.
Let's dive in. Here we are again.
Hi, Kristy.
Welcome back. This is fun.
It is.
We were made for this, I think.
I love this.
We were made for this.
My true purpose is being fulfilled.
I feel like this is going really well.
I hope so.
I think it is. I have no...
We're also slightly delusional people, so I don't know.
But I feel like that helps. I feel like it helps. I have no evidence that this is going well besides the fact that I'm having fun. I feel like I've worked really hard this week. Mm-hmm. If that's all in vain, I don't know.
Same. I know. We go through periods where we're working on a project and it's like 3 months of intensive 10-hour days and it's just crazy.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have a side project where it's just fun and relaxed and we're still working.
We're still working. We're still talking
This is
marketing.
still work, people.
It is. It is. So we how do we cram this topic into like 20 minutes? It feels like I could talk about this for hours.
I know.
So maybe
Same.
it's going to end up being part one.
It could be. Let's just preface it by saying this is part one.
Yeah, maybe it is.
We can always cut that out after.
We could always cut it out after. That's the best thing about this. We can always cut it out after.
Yeah.
Today we're talking about how we got here, meaning to these jobs. So the roads we traveled to get here. Would you like to go first?
Sure. I'm trying to think how far back to go. We only have 20 minutes, so I'm going to try not to be super wordy.
Yeah.
But so I have always been very keenly interested in writing, and it was something that always came naturally to me. Mm-hmm. And throughout my public school years, anytime there was any testing, my scores were always off the charts for grammar and writing and English and comprehension of English and all of the language arts. And like when I was in 8th grade, I was in the gifted and talented program. I know I'm aging myself there. It's not around anymore, but
It's not? I didn't even know that.
No, I think
Then I'm aging myself there.
we're in the everybody gets a trophy era. So.
Yeah.
But back then, it was like all the students that scored in the top percentile, they were moved into the gifted and talented program for whatever subject they were really good at. And so for me, it was language arts and English. And my scores were in the top 1%. For the country. And when I was in 8th grade, Johns Hopkins University sent somebody to our school to offer me a scholarship and to come live on campus and just deep dive into language arts.
Yeah.
I was 13 and my parents were like, no, hard pass.
Still impressive though. It's like a big honor.
But it was like, that was just me in public school. But as I went through high school, my English teacher was like, you're going to write a book someday. You're going to write a book someday. Mm-hmm. And so it was something that always came naturally to me. I was also drawn to photography. And while I was still in high school, we had a really cool vocational building attached to our school. And so like my last couple of years of high school, my days were my really beloved English class and my graphic arts and media class where I did darkroom photography and learned about printing brochures and laying out print and graphic design and stuff like that. And then while I was doing that, then after school, I would go to my college class for photography. Mm-hmm. Because I was just like, this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do something with this because I love this.
Yeah.
So words and pictures, like something, I'm going to do something with that. But then what I ended up doing right out of school when I graduated and finished my college courses. Then right when I was done with everything, I started my own photography business, and I was doing all the marketing for myself. I made my own website. I made my own business cards.
Wow.
I made my brochures.
You just taught yourself?
Yeah. I learned some of it in my graphic arts vocational school.
Okay.
Learning how to design was a big part of that. And then just my natural love of photography and making things look good.
Yeah.
It just kind of all came together, and I did all the copy content that I needed. So I was marketing without really putting a name on it. Like, I didn't realize I was marketing. I was just trying to grow my business. And so I always did something like that all through my adult life.
Yeah.
And even if my photography business, I did a lot of times in partnership with other jobs that I had, because artistic jobs didn't always pay the bills.
Yeah.
And so I got into, like, I worked at a bookstore. Again, my love of writing. That was amazing. I worked for a camera company on the coast of Maine. And then I worked for one of my favorite jobs, and I still am in touch with the owners. They're like a second family. I worked for like a mom and pop camera store, print shop in Waterville, Maine. And I still keep in touch with them. I love their family. So like, it was just such a cool job. And while I was there, they had a studio that they weren't using. And I was like, let me at it.
Yeah.
Put me in there. Like, can I open this back up for you? Can I run it? And so I built up a clientele there. And so I've done all these different pieces of what goes into being a creative director or like marketing.
Yeah, sounds like it.
And then when I started here, it just, like, creating content and being an editor, and I feel like we have innate abilities and then we have learned abilities. And for me, language was always that innate ability of mine, and being able to convey how I was feeling or what I was thinking or a concept, and using words as the vehicle for that.
Yeah.
That was what I was always good at.
Yeah.
Not so much speaking. Like, I'm so much better when I'm like, put me in the corner with my little notepad or my laptop, and just let me get the words out. Like, being put on the spot and having to speak. So like, this podcast, you really pushed me to do this.
Well,
and it's good though.
Growth. This is the year of growth for us. It's the year of growth for you.
True.
You're wearing sparkles this year. And I'm really going to push you to your limits. So
It's true. You have. And but that's been really good too, because this job has taken what I'm good at and then pushed me farther than I would have gone on my own. So I really love that. And I love that, we've won awards, and I've contributed to the copy for, what won that award.
yeah.
And we have clients that are just calling out the writing and being like, this is really great. You've really made my website come alive, and you totally get it. You got the point.
Yep.
Like, you were able to define what we do.
Yeah.
And that is tremendously gratifying, because I feel like there are so many different ways you can get validation for the path you choose and what work you decide to do. It's extremely validating for me every time I get correspondence from a client that we have, and they are so happy with what I've done, or I've helped contribute to the success of a project where we've had a full team on it, or where one extremely gratifying thing was training new writers to write insurance writing.
Yeah.
That felt so cool. Like,
And it being
we did
successful.
it. And they're successful, and they're turning out fantastic copy. And there are people who didn't come into this company thinking that they were going to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. So it just, seeing them realize their proficiency at writing when they didn't have any accreditation. I can't speak today. When they didn't have any validation from any school or anything that they could be a writer.
Right.
But they just had those gifts, and seeing it and helping that to grow, that is just like one of the coolest parts of my job.
Yeah.
Because I am such a big proponent of doing things a different way. Mm-hmm. That's like defined my whole life. And I love the other people that come into our company that are like, I don't know if I can do it. And like, Bill's really good at seeing that spark in people.
Yeah, finding where they fit.
And seeing like, you would be really good at this. Mm-hmm. You may not have had the training yet,
right,
but you will get it here.
Right.
And I think we all, the opportunity in this agency to come in almost like an intern,
yeah.
you know, and just try out. It's basically like real world development of skills that maybe have been hiding. Mm-hmm. And he's kind of a wizard in that he can see that in people. And then he has people in place to kind of help pull that out. Mm-hmm. And it's just the coolest thing.
Yeah. No, he has always done so well in that department, finding people and finding where they fit, what their talents are, and using that in whatever job works well for them and helping them thrive in that role.
Yeah. It's like, pull out that hidden talent, but then make it grow, and then build up your confidence and just cheerlead you on to international success. You know, it's just like, or national success.
Yeah.
It's such a cool, unique concept for an agency. And it's not to say that that everybody here doesn't have it. Like, there are people here who have gone through typical channels to get into this industry.
Yes.
That's not to say, you know, but so what if we were? We're doing the work. We're producing the results. It doesn't matter when you get right down to it, how you get from A to B.
Right.
Because if you're able to put out that kind of quality work and get there, it doesn't matter how you get there.
Yeah.
I think.
And that's validating for anyone else, especially anyone listening who feels like they don't have enough background in something that they want to do, but they want to try it.
And I think too many times, like, some people hear or believe that they hear like a "how dare you" when they want to get into something that is brand new for them, or just something that they have an interest in.
Yeah.
And thinking that they're hearing that from other people, like, well, how dare you? I went to school for 6 years or 4 years or 2 years to get into this job. What makes you think? No. You just look at them and you say, I dare. I do.
Yep.
Watch me.
Yep.
I'm doing it.
Yep.
So,
see where it takes you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why not?
Yep.
Why not?
Sometimes you succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times you can. I think we just get tripped up by what we think we're supposed to do, what we think we're supposed to follow and stick to.
Fear
and
is
fear.
a big part of it, I think.
Yeah. Just no more of that.
Yeah. No more of that.
Yeah. No
more of
We're
that.
past that. So what's your story, Kristy?
I kind of grew up feeling like I was never good at anything. And always felt like my siblings were all really good at something, and I wanted to find the thing I was good at.
Your thing.
And I couldn't find it. You know, my siblings were so talented at music, and I never was good at that. So I just like was always my whole life chasing like what's the thing I was going to be good at, and couldn't find it. And then when it came to the time point in my life where it was time for me to get a job, I'm like, okay, so what's going to be the thing that I do to make money and like, because I didn't want to hate working.
Yes.
But I was surrounded by people that were like, working is a drag. Except for my dad, who loved his work. He did flooring and he loved working and he worked very hard. So I tried working with him for a little bit. But I just enjoyed spending time with my dad.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy the hard labor of working. And so I was like, well, I know that I don't want to be doing hard manual labor. But
Also on brand.
Correct. That's men's work.
Where's Tim?
Where's Tim? That's men's work. But my whole life, my mom was always like, you love kids. You want to be working with kids. You need to work with kids. And I'm like, oh, I guess I love children. And so I went to school for early childhood education for like through high school. And then I went to college after to work with kids. And then I worked for many years in early childhood education. And I was never happy. I hated it. And it never occurred to me until, I don't know, 10 years into it, I don't like children. I don't. I really don't. Lovingly, I say that so lovingly, as lovingly
Just mine,
as possible.
right?
Here's what it is.
No,
It's like, I like kids to a degree where it's like, I like them over there.
Yeah.
Like, pat on your head.
Yeah.
Now, goodbye.
Yeah.
You know, I raised
Not to be responsible for them in some way.
I raised my nieces and my nephew, and you know, so I've had my kids. I raised them their whole lives. So but at the same time, I'm just like working every single day as a career, taking care of. I did infants for many years. I did preschool age. I did toddler age. I did kindergarten, and the closest I got to enjoying any of it was infants, but I was never happy. Yeah. And it's because my mom just was like, you love this. You love this.
It was someone else telling you what your thing was.
And I'm like, you love this. Right. She was like, you're so patient. I'm like, I've never been patient a day in my life. That is the last quality that I possess. It's the worst quality I have. Yeah. I'm not a patient person. Yeah. You think that. And so when I finally realized that, but through all that, like I enjoyed photography my whole life. And at a certain point, I pursued photography. I thought maybe I can be a wedding photographer. I did portraits of my friends here and there. I bought my own first camera when I was, 20 years old. And I shot my first wedding when I was 21. And it was just very nerve-wracking. And
precious moments that can be recaptured.
Yeah, that's what it was. Unfortunately, I didn't enjoy that either. Yeah. And that was so disappointing to me because I thought, I really wanted to like this because I love photography, but shooting weddings, man. Yeah. It's not fun.
I did it for years and it was great, but it was also not.
It's a lot of work both while you're shooting and then in post. I hate editing photos. Yeah. Editing photos is one of my least favorite things. Yeah. And it's so much of that dealing with the you have to be a certain type of extrovert, and I do consider myself an extrovert, but interacting with strangers and the family and being so charming and on. And at that point in my life, I think I wasn't as matured confidence-wise and interacting with strangers-wise as I am now. And so it made me very anxious, and it was just so much pressure, and I hated it. And I was so disappointed that I hated it. And so I gave that up. But that was like a little piece in the back of my brain where I'm like, that's something I like. But for years I just kept chasing after what it is that I liked and not really finding it.
And it sounds like what other people thought.
And what other people told me I should be doing.
Right.
And so at a certain point, I went to school for reflexology because I realized one day working on someone's hands that I had a natural talent for that. And so I went to school for a year for that and got a certification doing that. And so I pursued that for a time. And then I realized it is deeply unsettling to get jobs to go to strange men's house to work on their feet. Getting paid to go to strange men's house to work on their feet.
That wasn't a instant epiphany that took you a while?
It did. It did take me a second to realize I would hate that.
Also on brand.
Very, that is Kristy core to the core. Yeah. So that was disappointing. I thought it would be more medical than it was. It is a very medical thing. And I am so naturally talented at it. But separate from it being creepy, my chronic illness kept escalating to the point where my hands would give out. And I couldn't make it be full-time work. Yeah. My body couldn't do it. It's a very physically, any kind of massage therapy is very, very physical on your body. And so the worse my chronic illness got, the harder it was. And the more, eventually one day I realized I couldn't do that as my work. And so that dream died as well. And so one day I just landed here. It's just, I feel like it was just like.
What did you initially come here for?
When I started here, Bill offered me work doing community management. And so initially he was just kind of like, let me
find something.
throw random stuff at you. And so for a while, like I was only working 5 to 8 hours a week, doing social media for us, social media for certain clients. Pinterest was really big back then. So I was doing a lot of random pins, making pins and, taking care of one of the chambers for commerce. And he was like, I'm gonna throw you into analytics because you seem like the type. And
that's the one time Bill was wrong.
Whoa, was he wrong? Because he was just like, I'm going to teach you all about how to run reports and write reports. And because Bill and I had no rapport at the time, I was just like, yes, sir, I will do what you say.
Thanks for the job, sir.
Thank you for the job. I need this job. And I was like, I don't picture myself staying here at all because this is horrible. And so I did reports for a while until like other things started to morph in. I think he realized I was so charming and funny and I was definitely becoming the personality hire. That he just started to find other things for me to do. That's when Matterport came into the program super quickly because Courtney was doing it a little bit, Gretchen was doing it a little bit, Bill was doing it a little bit. None of them really enjoyed it. And so they threw it at me. They were like, you need tasks, do this. And I really enjoyed it. It was we were the first in New England to be doing it. The only people in New England to be doing it. It was brand new. It was a brand new business. And so I really enjoyed doing it. I didn't enjoy traveling to strangers' houses. That took me a long time to get used to. But I thought, this is an avenue of photography that's very different that I feel like I can kind of grab a hold onto and make mine. No one else is doing this. And I love that for me. Like, I am the only one.
You were so intense saying that to me. I was just kidding in my interview that I'm coming for your job. I feel like there was some extra feeling behind that.
There is something to be said, and for my personality, you know what it is? It goes back to childhood trauma, to my siblings having their special thing and me not having a special thing. And I was like, I grabbed onto Matterport with a death grip because it was like,
you got your fangs in it.
Literally,
and you're like, nobody else.
Not one other person in all of New England is doing this, and I'm doing it. And so that's cool. That made me feel like top of the pyramid, babe. Like, I'm going to take this and
plant your flag in it.
And I realized that there was some skill and strategy to it. It wasn't super difficult, but it wasn't just anyone could do it per se. You did have to learn the nuances to it. And especially as the camera upgraded and all the things upgraded. But anyway, I took the Matterport program and made it mine. And so that's when, like, over time, I just started being like, hey, Bill, this random reporting stuff, it's not for me. Like, go give it to someone else. And I think he kind of agreed with me, like, yeah, let's pass that off to whoever. And so slowly certain tasks I would gain new ones that were a little bit more me. And then other ones that were not me would get handed off to someone else. And so I kind of just kept slipping into the things I do here and get handed things that felt like they fit me. Especially, all the video stuff. I realized over time I enjoy more video than I do photography. My whole life I was like, I love photography. I love videography. Because,
and you wouldn't have discovered that
Right.
if you hadn't been in this job. Like, it wouldn't have occurred to you to, like, go to school for that, to get a degree for that.
Right.
You only found it because you just landed in this job and came at it a different way. Which I think is what we're trying to talk about today.
It just goes to
like
show you have to try many different things before you find what you're good at.
Sometimes,
what you like. Because it's like you just kind of have to, like, step into something and be like, nope, that wasn't for me. Nope, that wasn't for me. Oh, something about this I liked, but maybe not quite this.
Right.
Like working on feet of creepy men.
That's a no.
Something about it. Getting paid money to touch this guy's feet at his private house. Don't love it, but I am good at it.
That's not your takeaway, kids, okay? Let's not make that your soundbite.
But, like, droning, I would have never in a million years, never pursued that. Unless Bill was like, you're doing this. And
which is a total other kind of photography.
And it's like such my passion now, and I enjoy it so much. And so it's like some things I just fell into, like most things I just fell into, and I feel like they were like a lifetime coming from little interests I had to like finally making it there. I love taking videos on my phone. Anywhere I am, out and about, and everyone my whole life would always be like, oh, can't you just like enjoy the moment? You have to video everything. And I'm like, this is my way of enjoying the moment.
Exactly.
Like, are you ever actually going to watch that video? Yep, I am. Sure I am. I can't keep enough storage on my phone because of the actually 2,000 videos that are on it. And people are so offended by that, by like, ugh, can't you just like live in the moment instead of videoing it? Absolutely not. I love videoing.
This is you
stuff.
living in the moment.
I enjoy it. And so that translates to work. I love videoing things. I love the process of capturing this moment that's making me happy and letting it live eternally. And getting to watch it again and sparking that feeling of how happy that moment made me again and again. And then sharing it and making other people watch it.
Look at this.
Look how happy I was. And I like watching other people's videos. I think that's why TikTok does so well. Because, it's just like, look at all these just silly,
it's
stupid.
a window into somebody's life and into their personality and into their experiences. And we're all a little bit voyeuristic, I think. We love it. Clearly, we love it because, things like TikTok are massive. But,
and so realizing I didn't have to feel sorry about that was a big part of it. And that I could translate that into work that I love. Such a relief. And, like, makes me really happy. So my message to the to the people would just be keep chasing what you enjoy. Because it may not, I just think that you can enjoy your work.
I do too. That was my big thing too. Like my parents, when I graduated high school, they were like, go work at the bank. And I was like, I knew with every atom in my body, if I worked in a bank or for some kind of corporate entity, traditional corporate entity, I would self-destruct.
Yeah.
I could not do it.
Yeah.
And it had to be work for me. And maybe it sounds entitled. I don't think it is because I came from a poor family. It wasn't like, I'm just going to chase my dreams while someone funds them.
Right.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah.
My car broke down every month.
Yeah.
You know, and I ate noodles for years.
Yeah.
It was, if I am going to have to work to make my way in this world,
Yep.
it will be on my terms.
Right.
And it will be something I want to do. If it's not that, it's going to be a no.
Yep.
I don't care.
Yep.
I don't care how desperate my situation gets. That is going to be the one thing that bends to my will.
Yep.
You know, especially you're giving over your time, you're giving over years of your life
Yeah.
to someone else.
Yeah.
So they're going to be a
Day
company.
to day, every day, it's your life.
Right. They're going to be a company that aligns with my goals or my whatever. Like it's going to be mine. I'm going to take ownership of it.
Yeah.
And my parents didn't get it. They hated it.
Well, everybody has some kind of skill.
Yeah.
Everyone's different in their skills, but I think you use them to your advantage. If you like driving, go be a FedEx driver, or go be a bus driver. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like whatever it is.
Right.
And just figure out what you are good at, figure out what you enjoy, and figure out how that translates to work.
Yeah. Find a way to make it happen too. Like I think don't be scared. Don't be scared. I think, and we were talking about it earlier, like fear is such a big mind killer, and it kills your spark. It kills everything.
Yeah.
And allowing other people to tell you
That's what it is.
what you should and shouldn't do.
That's what it is. Yeah.
It's like, whose life is this?
Right.
Whose work life is this?
Yeah.
It's yours. So guess what? You get to decide what your work life is going to look like.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that still sounds entitled, but we've lived it. You and I have both been like, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been all puppies and rainbows.
Right. Yeah. That's not to say that every aspect of our jobs is nothing but fun and giggles.
Oh, goodness, no.
We have, yesterday? Was I not literally screaming into my hands at my desk? Literally.
I have so many screams in me.
I was screaming into my hands at my desk because I was so frustrated. So it's like, it's not like all of it is just rainbows.
And I had several moments when I was like, I'm quitting. I'm leaving. You know, there were like bills like, oh, is she quitting again?
Yeah.
You know, I went through some growing pains for real and was like, I don't know if this is for me until I found my thing. Yeah. But so it's not always like committing to that, making that choice and then committing to it and following through and not letting anybody disrupt that. I think it's a conscious decision you have to make. And you have to give yourself permission. Yeah. And then just do it.
I hope this inspires people.
I hope so. I hope I haven't said anything too cliched and cheesy. I feel like I do.
Yeah. Well,
I'm sure there's some.
I hope it doesn't come across as like, may you be as happy as we are.
Right. Chase your dreams.
Listen, I don't mean to keep going back to
not.
the foot fetish thing.
But you are.
But again, some of us were working jobs where we touched men's feet for money. And then I got here. So if you are still in your touching feet for money phase of your life, there's hope. There's hope for you.
I feel like we need to make a t-shirt or some kind of.
I don't even know if I don't think that was my word. I cleaned bathrooms on a beach for a summer.
That's
when I
not-
was 21.
no.
That was pretty rough because it was pitched to me as like, oh, do you want to just get like paid to sit on the beach for the summer? And then like every hour, go in and just like make sure the bathrooms are clean. And at the time, I thought it was big money. I think I was getting paid like $12 an hour.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my word, I'm going to be rich sitting on the beach, getting paid to just like go check in. Oh my word, was that not the situation? Not even a little bit. And people treated me like I was trash. And they were so mad at me if I tried to jump in front of them to clean a stall they were about to use. Sand everywhere. It was the women's room was always nastier than the men's, believe it or not.
Wow, that
Always.
does surprise me.
And then I'd have to travel to other beaches, and I'd always ride with this man who would smoke in my car and roll his cigarettes in my car.
Wow.
It was just like, it was a bummer.
I feel like we could do a whole other episode with the men of your of your past. A cautionary tale.
Listen, some of my stories are not podcast appropriate. And so these are just the ones I feel like I can share to the public. So for the non-public ones, hit up my DMs. How about that?
That will just invite new bad experiences.
Oh, that's a good point. Don't leave my DMs alone. We're going to get kicked off. We're going to get kicked out of this. Let's not lose our funding, like we said.
Yeah.
We have to wrap this up. This is longer than we
already?
normally do. I feel like this
worth
is good. Worth it. Good.
I feel like it's a good subject.
Yeah.
Like we both are very passionate about doing things in a different way. And
I want other people to feel
like you
good
can do it.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. Not like a, fill you full of sunshine, delusional kind of live in the clouds way. Like we both had very gritty, determined. We had gritty determination. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, we do need to wrap it up because I'm losing my train of thought.
Okay.
But I think it just encouraging people to find their way to where they want to be, regardless of what other people say and how they're told they need to get there.
Yeah.
Because we're both thriving in this industry.
Yeah.
We've reached and surpassed goals that we've set for ourselves.
Yep.
We've learned new skills. And none of it would have happened if we had limited ourselves to that scared little voice that told us we were doing it the wrong way.
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't stay in our comfort zones.
Yeah.
So may you not either. May you get something out of this.
Don't leave us now. Come back.
Yeah, make sure you come back.
We need to not sound desperate at the end of every podcast.
Please come back.
Please be our friends.
We think that you're going to leave.
Please. Hello to our one listener.
Just come
Please
back
come
if
back.
you want. Like whatever. We don't.
Right.
We won't even care.
We're just gonna sit here and talk anyway.
Yeah.
But it would be cool if you came too.
like whatever.
You can hang out too.
But do it. Come back.
Yeah, do it.
Okay, friends. Till next time.
It's the end.
No, it's not. There's more.
There's always more.
Don't be sad. You can catch our full video interviews on our YouTube channel. Come find us.
And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with your friends so that we're not sad.
And follow us on TikTok.
And Instagram.
It'll make your day happier, promise.
And we'll know if you do. Until next time.